Welcome, welcome, welcome to another live with us, Empower Yourself TV. I am Sonia White,
And I'm Joy.
and this is our third episode.
Yay!
Yay! Where we're using our platform to help to support whoever wants to change your life in terms of feeling better, functioning better, more energy, losing some weight, just overall quality of life for the long haul. So, hopefully, from our engagement and from the information we're sharing, that somehow you'll take away something that will help you to consider the journey or continue on along the journey. And just continue to subscribe and support us because we have a lot in store for you guys.
Subscribe and share.
And share. We're getting used to it. It's new. So today we're going to talk a little bit about tips and suggestions as it relates to wanting to transition from where you are to where you want to be, how we did it, what are the steps we incorporated, how the transit. We're still transitioning, guys. It's not a place where you're going to reach, especially because you're trying to transform the mind into, and that takes like changing and overriding the core beliefs that we have about nutrition, about health, all that information we gathered from our environment, from school, from, all of that stuff, trying to break it apart and see, does it really support? Can I really trust this? Is there enough fruit on the tree from this information that I can incorporate and have some guarantee that I'll end up at a better place if I utilize this information? So one of the things we're gonna do in the coming episodes, we have a whole list of people who have, changed their lives and are doing very well, and we're gonna have those interviews. And we want to do like,
We'll have some
food.
guest speakers too.
Yeah. So bear that in mind. We're going to talk about tips and suggestions. You want to start or you have anything to say?
No, I can go ahead and get started. I believe the first episode I had talked about how I pretty much had, got on the path and how I transitioned. I basically went cold turkey, and I wouldn't suggest that just getting started unless you've kind of, done your research and, you kind of know the steps that you need to take. But hopefully, our viewers are people that's trying to, get the information. So I wouldn't suggest going cold turkey unless you just feel like you want to. I mean, I'm not saying
We did.
not to.
I mean, I couldn't not.
Yeah.
For some things.
Yeah. So it's like, certain things like, no, I would say don't do cold turkey. But for this, I'd be like, yes, do it. But I can't decide that for you. But especially if you're like coming off of meat, I would say like transition. And I always told like my family members that just do it for 2 weeks and then, or you don't even have to do it. I guess I shouldn't say do it for 2 weeks, but just try it. And what you should do is each meat group, like say if you did seafood, take that out for the week. And then the next week, then do turkey. And then the next week, do beef. And then do pork. Just do a little bit at a time. And just see how your body adjusts. But I guess the overall, I was like, if you want to, kind of just go in it, do it for 2 weeks and just see how you feel. And I always would suggest a journal. If you keep a journal will definitely, like, from day to day, like, what you're eating, how your moods, how you feel, what aches and pains, because then you can always go back and just kind of see that pattern, or you can see certain foods don't really agree with you. Because me and Sonia, we always talk all the time about how
Stick a pin or lab.
um, we always talked about how I forgot, I lost my train of thought.
It's
Well,
okay. It's
I was
normal.
not
That's
saying
our
we
thing.
always talk about something about I don't know what it was, y'all.
I was
Sorry.
distracted with us being there, but
Yeah.
anyway,
Um
cold
but,
turkey and
yeah, I was just saying, like, cut out that stuff. And then I don't know what my main point. Like, I really want to get back to it, and I can't even think what it was that I wanted to say.
sorry,
That's okay.
I derailed.
I don't know. Well, I'll just get back to it, y'all. I guess it wasn't important. Let's see. So basically, be gentle with yourself. Don't beat yourself up, because I do this a lot, and still, like, right now I still do it. I still beat myself up, and I probably shouldn't. I try, like, to unlearn that behavior, but it's hard. But just be gentle with yourself, because you're gonna make, mistakes, and not to say that it's right or if it's wrong, but you'll have these steps where you'll do something. So, like, basically what I mean is, like, now I'm 4 years in. It'll be 4 years in June. And I'm still, like, struggling with certain things, like the water. I have a really hard time with the water, and it's like I get so busy with my day-to-day stuff, and then with me being a massage therapist, sometimes I have to cut my water back. And then if I do drink it, like, late at night, then I'm up using the bathroom, which is not a bad thing, but it just keeps me up and I can't, like, totally rest. So I struggle throughout this whole process with the whole water, which, we need water. But I just figured out now, everything that I've been doing, that the more vegetation and more of the fruitation that you put into your system, I'm not saying that it should be, like, less water, but you're getting more water from your food. So you can cut back a little bit, which has helped me out a lot. But I'm just now at the 4-year mark really understanding that a lot of stuff that I was eating was, like, robbing me of my cells and my muscle, my tissue, like, everything. So, I was having to drink, like, more water. So now that I know that, and that's why I said, I guess it was that bing bing moment. Like, I'm like, oh my God, if I do more fruits, like, I don't really have to, I'm fully hydrated. So I don't have to do as much water. I'm not saying that I don't drink water, but I just noticed I don't have to take in as much. So, just like I said, be gentle with yourself. And number 2, for, this is, like, coming from me of my journey. It's a transition. It's not a race. Sometimes I feel like, we're racing to get to the finish line. And just like Sonia said earlier, just, take your time, and, it's no hurry, not unless I guess not to say that it's not no hurry, unless you're dealing, I guess, with a medical, like, if you're really sick, like, you really can't take, the time to totally transition. Like, you really just, when it comes to, like, holistic, you really need to go full-fledged into what you're doing, because, you really want to heal and not really have to go and get on medication. And because your body, once you give it what it needs, it's gonna work with you. And I feel like we've been taught the opposite, that it, no, we need to go. And I'm not saying not go to the hospital. They have their place. And for me, it's trauma. Like, I would only go to them for that, because I found out through this whole 4-year period that, as far as, like, keeping the body well and it's functioning, properly, you don't really need to, go there. Just like I said, unless I, got in a car accident or something like that, they're good for trauma. Like, they have their place. And then, like I said, I had a really great doctor because she did Eastern and Western medicine, and you don't really find too much of that where, it's both worlds. So, like I said, it's not a race. You don't have to be competitive. I'm not going to compete with, Sonia because she's at one spot doing what she's doing. That's her. You know what I'm saying? If she wants to go full fledged and go full turkey, but if you feel like that you can't, go full turkey, then don't go full. Me and her both did, and we both decided, and we felt like it was right. Like, it just, our gut was just like,
ready.
Yeah, we was ready, and like we was just like, yeah, we're diving in. It's like you jumping out of a plane with no parachute. Like, that was what we basically did. And I'm not saying not to do that, but just, mentally at least prepare yourself to, to be ready, And also too, let's see. So I was like, don't make it a race thing. And then I told you to try it for like 2 weeks. I've been telling a lot of my family members, just do it for 2 weeks, and and then you can always go back to the meat. It's just, we're not telling y'all to not eat meat or to eat meat. Like, you have to decide that for yourself. But we just know from our point of view, and then what we've been through, we just, and we know, we've done the research, meat creates acid, and you don't want that in your system. So basically, I would rather for you not to, but I can't make that decision for you. You have to listen to your body and figure it out, and you pray, do whatever, your 5 senses, and go from there. And then, like I said, this whole 4-year period for me, I have struggled with the water. And let me back up. And I have struggled with not struggled with the enema, but I noticed the enema was hard for me at first because it was.
Well, tell them what is it that you suggest, because you're talking about enema, but like, and they're assuming that we're eating fruits and vegetables. But like, what did you so you're going plant-based, but what did you incorporate? Yes, you did away with the meat, but what did you incorporate as, okay, this is the routine for me, since this is the decision I
Well,
made.
It was easy for me because, like I said, we had met Adama, and Adama had a food guide. And then prior to that food guide, I had researched and had already started doing Dr. Savy stuff. So I was already preparing from his nutritional guide. I was already preparing food off of his nutritional guide. And I didn't, it's just a list. It doesn't tell you like, because where I used to do diets all the time, you know how they tell you to eat this at this time and eat 2 hours and eat a snack. Like, his guide's not like that. It's just foods that are that have seeds and that work with, with us having melanin in our system. So I just basically started Googling. So like, YouTube and Pinterest was my best friend. So I started Googling. There was a guy named Thai Conscious Kitchen. He was like my best friend because he has recipes on there and he breaks every little thing down from measurements, what you put in here. So I started doing that. And then shortly after that, then that's when I found Adama. And then she has a guide. And hers is way simpler than his because she mainly just wants you to do the fruits in the morning. And then she wants you to, I guess you could do a salad like, in the afternoon. And then maybe if you wanted to do more salad, you could do that. Her thing was you just don't go back and eat fruit after you've already had your vegetation. You don't go back because you don't mix all that up into the stomach because it'll make, maybe.
Well, fruit is a cleanser.
Yeah. So, and so that was easy for me. It's just, I had her and I had you, I just had people that I could fall back on. And that's what I wrote down too on my notes, was that find some type of sisterhood, you know, and it don't have to be like a big group or nothing, but if you could just find, you know, a friend or
Like
two,
running
just
buddy.
somebody, that you can just, they can hold you accountable and y'all can share each other. Like even me and Sonya, like I said, we've been on this for at least 4 years and we still share a bunch of stuff with each other. We're always finding different recipes and, or somebody saying this or, you know, and it'll just set with us and we'll have to share it, you know. So just find some sister, you know, that you can, you know, hold, that she can hold that space. You can hold that space for her. And even you all can even like, shoot, I just keep getting off track today. I don't know what my problem is today. But anyway, so
find your sisterhood.
Yeah,
find a tribe.
Find a sisterhood. Find a tribe. Just to hold space for each other. And then I also, like I said, and then I mentioned about the Pinterest and the YouTube. Those were my best friends for kind of keeping me on track, or just finding somebody. And like now I'm more like into Instagram, so I'll find different people that's on the same path. And I'll just listen to them, like even when I'm doing my enema or whatever, and it just like, just to put it in my head, like to just keep me on track, even though still I might have a setback. And I feel like I have had a setback. I feel like last year I had a setback because then I started developing issues again with my my digestive system. So then I was like, man, what am I doing wrong? Because I already knew it was something that I was doing. It wasn't nothing, nobody outside of here. It was me. So what I found was that I'm a Sagittarius, y'all, and I'm just going to be honest. I get bored. And so I was like, because I was real strict at first. And I was going like at it hard, like, I mean, I just went straight from fruits and vegetation, and that's all I would eat. It's the same thing over and over and over. And I was like, man, I just need something different, you know. So basically, I forgot what I'm saying again. Tonight just ain't working for me tonight.
That's
but anyway,
cool.
Anyway, I was talking about my digestive system, but I figured out what it was. I had that setback. And the setback was I had started incorporating a lot of beans. You know, I wasn't having them like here and there, but I was eating them like every day. Like I was just getting in this routine. Like once I found something, I would just eat them every day. And Sonya knows I used to eat avocados every day. So that's a fact.
Avocado.
Yeah, I was an avocado head. Like, so, you know, I was finding that all that it was just too much for my system. And I kept telling her, I was like, something ain't right. Like, I wasn't feeling this great. And then, you know, then I started eating the potato chips. Because once I started making the guac, then I had to have the chips with it. And of course, I tried like the vegetables, like carrots and stuff like that, but it just wasn't the same. Like the chips, and like I crave salt. And now that I do my research, that means that's an adrenal thing. So, you know, I was wanting the salt. So, you know, it led me to the chips. And then I was like, well, it's better to do, I guess, the tortilla chips and not do the regular like Lay's or Ruffles or something like that. So I got on that kick, you know. And so all of that stuff was just because I hadn't really like did a total detox, like clearing out my intestines. I was basically just packing the waste back up in there because it never got a real chance to really fully heal itself. So now, and I'm still going through this like right now. So what I figured, what I needed to do, I ended up running into this brother. It's Morambi, right? Morabi. Okay, I know I always say that wrong. I found him through Sonya, and I had seen him before, but didn't really kind of like chime in too much. But in everything that I just said just now, he confirmed it. So basically, I just need to go in and do a reset. And like Sonya said, the fruits are cleansing, and just stick to the fruits, you know. And a lot of people, like in the like holistic world, don't talk about fruits, but really, I feel like we're fruitarians. But that's a whole nother subject for another time. But I feel like we should really like clear ourselves out with the fruit, right? And so I'm on this detox like right now, and that might be why I'm having a little memory fog tonight, because
You're detoxing?
yeah, because I'm detoxing and I do feel a little tired. But I had ate some jackfruit the day before that I feel like I shouldn't have, because you have to transition off of it and like take like 2 days going into like going back to eating like the meat and stuff. Not the meat, but actually the like solid stuff. It's basically the heavy stuff. And so I just felt like really tired today, and I probably should have rested, but I was up, moving around doing stuff. I didn't really like rest like I should when you do these like really deep detoxes, because I mean they detox at a cellular level, so you really have to rest. Like you can't really like work out, you can walk, take a nice little brief walk or something like that, but as far as like bike riding or doing Stone Mountain and stuff like that, I would advise like to wait. But anyway, long story short, I don't want to keep y'all too long, but the detox, this lemon detox, is the truth. Like it has got me like so like I'm back, like I just and the results, like the lemon is like, I guess it's pulling out the bad stuff, like it's hitting my weak points and it's going in and clearing that stuff up. You know what I'm saying? Like if it's my adrenals, like it's clearing all that stuff up. So I'm gonna have to feel like
the mucus.
Yeah, the mucus is pulling that out. Like it's just clearing up a lot of things for me, and I just have to stay the path, which is hard, because I be wanting like salad and stuff like that. But I don't want to keep you all too long. I want Sonia to be able to give her. I don't think there's anything else. I talked about.
So
the
what's
journal.
your daily routine like?
So
if people want some ideas, like people are at work, well, you're at home. You work from
well,
home.
When I first started the whole path, I was at work and I had to clock. I had to clock in, so that was pretty tough. So I figured through Adama that you can create the life that you want. So I actually wanted to be at home. So I feel like I created that space. So now, my business is in my home. So I don't have to worry about clocking out, and I'm pretty much my own boss. And I create my time, so now I have more time. So I can't really speak too much to people that actually have a 9 to 5 and they have to clock. The only thing I can basically say is prep is everything with this lifestyle.
Exactly.
Like preparation. And I'm already like a person that's like straight, like Monday do this, Tuesday do, like I'm like real, like, and I have to have stuff in order. So prep is everything. So on Tuesdays when I, get my clay and stuff ready for my enema, which now I'm down to 3 days a week doing my enema, but like to fix it to drink and stuff, I prepare all my teas fresh. I like those fresh, but pretty much like the red clay, like I do those like on Tuesday. So those are my prep days, and like Wednesday is my grocery day. So I just prep. And then I think as far as like for food too, you should have a prep. And I know y'all have heard you say you put things in bags and stuff, and so that way you can just pull stuff out, and you can do your cooking or whatever. But just preparation is like the key. Like if you don't have that down, it'll cause you to probably go out to eat and
cheat.
Yeah, you end up cheating on something that you don't want, and then you don't know some of the like restaurants, you don't know what they're putting in stuff. And like I'm very kind of funny about what I eat. I do eat at some Ethiopian places, and then Cecili's and Loving It Live is like, that's my go-to. Like I love Loving It Live. But you got to be careful about certain things, because you don't know, people's putting like preservatives to, make sure they can keep it on the shelf and stuff like that. And that can interrupt your detox process. So you want to kind of like stay away from that. It's mainly better to cook your stuff, but me and my husband, we're foodies, so we always
where the hot spots are.
Even when we was meat eaters, we was going to different places. But even like now, it's because this whole vegan thing has just like taken off, and we're like, oh my god, but it will like it'll make you have a setback. I mean, for me it did, because then I was eating all this stuff, and then I started craving all this different stuff, and then that's how I feel like that my whole digestive system got backed up. So I had to take a chill on that and really, really detox and go hard at it. And then Sonia sells a detox, and we did that a
Same
month.
tea.
Yeah, we did that a month ago, and I have some coverage. I'm willing to show y'all because it was intense. And so I've been detoxing, I feel like, for the last 2 months so far. And, and it's helped. It's really helped. And then I just feel like the lemon detox is even more aggressive. So, I would suggest you do that, but you need to gradually, it's not like you just go straight into it. That's the wrong, like you have to gradually like get into it and, do it that way. Like you can't just go full force with that. Nobody should do that. It's a way to go about, really like detox. And like I said, me and her both have done it, and we can help y'all if, you have any questions or you more interested, and definitely like chime in, and let us know, but, anyway, and then I too, and if you can like shop at a farmer's market, I'm not saying everybody doesn't have that option, because like I'm originally from Kentucky and there's no farmer's market. I think the closest one would be in Cincinnati, but like here,
Oh, is that so?
yeah, I travel all the way to, but like we have a co-op, and co-ops can be kind of expensive, like on a lot of stuff, but like the farmer's market, you can really save a lot of money, but nobody's gonna drive, an hour, I mean, every now and then I could see you doing it, but yeah, but I know everybody doesn't have that option, but definitely if you are close to a farmer's market, I would say that would be the best to get your fruits and your vegetables from. And I'm not saying like Walmart or Kroger's. I think a lot of those places do have like organic.
Yeah, because I get some.
Yeah,
You have to shop around.
yeah. So, and then there's a lot of like Asian places and Mexican stores, and I mean grocery stores, so you can just buy like certain things from certain like little markets and stuff like that. So just depending on like I said, where you're at. So that's a good plus to have if you close to a farmer's market. And then I think that's pretty much it. And also, like I said, please leave a comment. If there's any questions or answers that that y'all need, definitely chime in and we can answer your questions. Definitely want to like answer more questions, and then let us know if it's any subject that you all want us to talk about, or if you want to see certain things from us. I think we're gonna do like some food stuff eventually too. So, but like I said, we're just getting started. This is new to us. But I know the more and more we do this, the better it'll get. So I'm not going to keep you all anymore. I just went over my whole list of what I felt like y'all need to know. Do you think it was anything else that I left out? Because like I said, I'm a little foggy today. Mm-hmm. And I apologize, y'all.
So you do animals, you do herb tea, you do fruits and vegetable. And you have that routine and you prep. So, now you're detoxing, and your detoxing is the lemon water or the straight lemon.
Yeah, I do straight. Yeah, no water in this.
You do straight lemon, and then a lot of the hydration you get from your fruits.
And you can do along with the lemon, because the lemon and the grapes. So I do the juice of grapefruits. I mean the grapes. And watermelon, those are really aggressive fruits, so you can have that as well with the lemon, or you can just do the undiluted lemon. But sometimes, I don't know, I feel like I need a taste for something else. I don't know if that's just in my mind or what, but sometimes I do that along with the lemon. I'm doing that like right now, and you do it for 7 days.
And what is the difference prior to and then doing it for 7 days that you notice when you got on the
So when I first did it, it's the same. Like you do have like flu-like symptoms. Like all this was stuffy, the mucus was running from my nose, and I was congested just for a day. And normally I have a really bad headache like the first 3 days, but this time I didn't. And when I did your detox, I had headache. And I also been doing my bentonite clay baths along with it too, because I'm trying to open every mucous membrane up to get that stuff out. The kidneys, the bowels, the skin. So but I noticed my skin had changed. But also, like I said, the nose was still, and then I could feel stuff still, even though I was doing pretty much a lot of juicing. I feel like it was pulling layers, like that blockage that I felt like I had from eating all the bad stuff. I feel like the enema, like the clay, was pulling all of that because I was still having bowel movements. Because after a while, once you clear everything out, you're not gonna eliminate like solid. You know what I'm saying? So I just noticed that, and I noticed my skin had cleared up. I didn't have any headaches. I've definitely been feeling fatigue. But then I like at the end of the day, sometimes I have this burst of energy out of nowhere where I feel like I could just clean my whole house. So it has its perks, but it gets better. It's only the bad happens in the beginning. And so that'll kind of derail people to not do it because they're like, oh, this ain't right. I feel sick when they said I was going to feel better, but that's part of pulling getting the toxins out of your system. So, but I could tell the more that I do detox, those symptoms is not as bad as it was when I did my very first one. Because when I did the detox the very first time, like years ago, it was probably after I'd been on the regimen for 2 years. I think I had did my first detox, and it was that first week was rough. Like I was just like, oh my God, I don't think I'm gonna be able to take it, but I can tell it gets better. And then, like I said, these last 2 detoxes I did just now back to back, they wasn't as bad as before. It was just, I ain't gonna say it was easy or anything, but it wasn't as much of a challenge. So but that's the difference. But you see all this, like your skin changes, you start losing inches. Like it's a whole lot of stuff that, you just start feeling better. And like I said, you'll have a little bit of energy. But I think I just had a setback because I had to try this jackfruit yesterday that I probably shouldn't have done. And so that was kind of a lesson. That's why I said, I don't want to be like, oh, you got to do this instead of, because I'm like, you're going to have those moments and you just learn from it. And I learned that, I just need to stay the course, don't try anything, unless you just know, like, at least I know what's going to happen. Like if I do it tomorrow, I'm like, well, I'm going to feel yuck the next day, But anyway, I don't want to keep talking. I hope I was helpful. I think I pretty much got everything. Is there anything else you think that I need to say before
I mean, you can butt in when I'm talking.
Yeah, but I don't want to go in. Yeah. No. So I think I'm good. I'll let you have the floor.
My part is I'm going to be a little bit more specific. For those people who are kind of rolling over the information in their head, not quite convinced how they can adapt what is it we're trying to share, how incorporate it into their lifestyle for change. Because I know we're speaking to people on a wide spectrum. You have those who are listening who might, want to find some more information about an alternate way. They have some who have decided that this is the way and need a little direction. And then there are others who have started and need some support to continue on. For the people who haven't totally committed yet, and I want to speak to that as to why I think probably this will help. I want to say if you're having any type of pains, any type of issues, low energy, depression, anxiety, all of those things, a change to this type of lifestyle will support that. I believe is more effective. Because when Joy and I started, we spoke about all the issues we had, and now we no longer have it as a result of this lifestyle. One of the questions we get faced a lot with, to backtrack, okay, we have to target the belief system. Because if you don't believe that this is an alternative to get you where you want to, you're not going to sustain the journey. and the belief system that we have about food and what is right and what is going to support function, we gathered from our upbringing, the environment, science, all these resources. And obviously, some of these things we adapted, whether from growing up, because the way we eat, it came from how we were brought up, what our parents cooked, when you visited family, what they did. So, we just adapted that lifestyle. This is what, what nutrition is. This is how we can function effectively by ingesting these. If that is your core belief, okay, like I know people's core belief about meat is that, where do you get your protein from? I constantly hear that a lot. And that was something that had bothered me when I just got started too. Yeah, I never actually thought about animals not eating other animals. They're eating plants, and the most muscular and robust animals are all herbivores. So if the animals are eating vegetation and they're perfectly okay, and usually they're eating one type of grass, or the squirrel eat just nuts, just acorn, then it connects with me that if they're getting whatever they need from plants, and then I am, which is why I switched, I am going to eat the animals who are eating plants. Let me just circumvent the animals and go straight to the plants. And that's, for me, that made sense, because I didn't want the other stuff that the animals gave me, that now I'll have to go help my body how to get rid of that stuff and utilize and assimilate it. So for me, it was enough to know that if animals are getting their protein from vegetation, that was enough for me to say, okay, I'll get enough protein. And then you find out that a lot of this vegetation have protein. It already have enough protein. And personally, I think we just eat too much protein. And why I believe that is because it overworks the kidney. And that's a personal thing. So I think we have to address the belief system first. Okay, what is it that I am believing about this way of eating that I'm going to continue on with for the long haul, and be so inflexible as to look at another way that could be a little bit more effective. So that is where it's at. I believe for you guys who are struggling, okay, are you going to have adequate fueling from just plants alone? And I've met tons of people, Joy and I have met tons of people who have been eating plants from year high, and they have a clean bill of health, never been to the doctor, never have headaches, no pains, no aches. Those testimonies were adequate enough for me to change my belief system or override the information I got from my upbringing and from the environment, override it for me to want to change it, to say, you know what, this is better for me. And this is one of the things, I want to encourage you guys to think about. And the other question I get is about the science. Well, the science said this and the science said that. And I'm like, okay, but look at where we're at. We have more clinics opening up, more hospitals, more medication, more, professions related to treating illness and disease. So if we're trusting the science, not to say you shouldn't, but if that's the science that we have had, and we're holding on to the science, but the results is giving you something else. The results aren't supporting life force. It's supporting illness, sickness, and disease. And it's obvious. I mean, how many of us know people who are sick with one? And it's not the sickness is earlier now. Back
I mean, the
then,
children
the
are
children
coming.
are having
They're
diabetes.
but they being born sick.
And they're born
They're
sick.
born sick.
So if the science still holds strong, and this is what it's producing, it's either I must be stupid to want to not examine the science and say, you know what, it needs some kind of tweaking because it's not working. There's no, the fruit on the tree doesn't make sense to me. And I think that is something that we have to sit down and say, okay, I am supporting or am in alignment with a belief system that this is where it's going to take me. You got to be stupid to want to continue along that path knowing where the end result is going to be. You're going to be in bed sick and whatever. I don't know. To me, that alone is like enough to say, listen, we're going off this, we're following this path, and it's leading to an end that I don't want to participate in or be a part of anymore. So that is something I think that affects our affects our core beliefs as to why we don't want to make the change. But to the point of if you have any type of pain, the migraines, forget constipation. If you have constipation, you're not healthy. Something you're doing is throwing off the function of the body. And constipation is you're just holding on to the waste. And that waste keep coming back up, regurgitating it, getting to your cells. Listen, that's just, that's just illness and disease ready to happen.
It's like you're ticking time bomb.
Yeah, you're ticking time bomb. So that is something. So if we have taken care of the core beliefs and do some research, guys, taking care of the core beliefs that, you know what, maybe I can tweak this and change some things, incorporate some things. My thing with the meat is that if the vegetation can give me the same thing that the meat is giving me, I'm just going to circumvent the meat. I really don't need to put my digestive system through all that work. Meat takes over 8 hours to digest. And what am I getting out from it? Some protein, yes. The rest of it, no fiber, no hydration, blood, and also parasites that's, coming from these animals. Work that, I'm taking into my stomach that going to create their own haven in my stomach, their own system to reproduce that, especially if I'm not eliminating. I'm like, listen, I'm not putting my body through that. So that was the thing with me and meat. And once you have taken care of the core beliefs, let's do the decision. You have decided, you know what, this is what I'm going to do. Whether you're going to try it, you're going to test it out. You make a choice, a decision that, okay, I'm going to try to incorporate. Because we're on different spectrum. If you're doing, breakfast, lunch, and dinner is meat, bacon, chicken, fish, try and cut it back to 2, then to 1 for the day, and then probably 1 for the week, and see how that works. That's the decision. But also, I would suggest some kind of detox and cleansing. That is not it's not something that's advocated in our health routine, on our health protocol. And I think it's so missing, guys. We clean the car, we clean the house. This whole thing about the body does what it does and does the elimination by itself. That's what the experts say, so you don't need to do anything extra. If you are eating fruits and vegetation, you probably wouldn't have to do anything extra. But because we are eating other stuff that's processed, it's hard to digest, we're not eliminating, we have to assist the body to do the elimination process more frequently. So that science does not hold true anymore because we're eating and ingesting a different, we're not even ingesting food. We're ingesting food like stuff.
And the body don't know, it can't recognize it.
Yeah, it
So
doesn't know what
how
to do
break
with
Yeah,
it.
it doesn't have to
So
know
if
how
you're
to
gonna
break it
stick with
down.
science or stick with, what you're told, okay, this is, you don't need no extra, you don't, this thing with enema, you don't need to do no enema, you don't need to do no washout, you don't need to do no cleansing. To me, that does not make no sense because everything else we clean. We clean the house.
We brush our teeth.
Well, yeah, it's like a part of surviving, a part of living. So that doesn't make any sense to me. So if you want to stick with science and that's science, more power to you. But cleansing, I would suggest if you want to do a detox, 7 to 10 day detox a week, most of the people who I talk to that I'm encouraging, a lot of my girlfriends, it's the same thing like Joy. Do the lemon, do the fruit. I did when I just started. It wasn't a cleansing. I didn't relate it to cleansing. But when I did that 30-day fruit and vegetation, everything just fell off.
But you did
But
a water fast too.
Yeah, I
though,
mean,
right?
later down, like, in the last 2 years, I've done water fast. 4 days, 6 days, 10 days, 14. The most I've done was 14 days water fast. And I did that because of allowing my body to repair and heal itself once you understand the purpose
Right.
and how impactful fasting is. So with
And even the
detox.
animals when they're like sick,
But they don't even eat that often.
They fast though. They go into fast and they rest.
Yeah. So
Nature.
but even that, whoever came up with, we have to eat 6 meals a day. And then we eat in the 6 meals. I understand what they're trying to say, especially with if you're losing weight. That is the protocol. 6 small meals a day. But to me, I understand that in terms of you want the body to burn more energy. And the body is burning more energy because fat is really energy you're trying to convert, so you're burning. But the drawback to the 6 meals a day is that you're overworking the digestive system. It's constantly working. So you'll see the results immediately, but the long term is, guys, the body is not repairing and healing itself. So it might not bother you now, but over time you keep doing that stuff, you gotta have some kind of dysfunction going on because the body is meant to shut down, and shutting down means stop eating, whether it's just fruit. Because the thing with fruits is that there's no digestion going on. It's going straight into the bloodstream. But when you're having those other stuff, it needs help to digest and assimilate. So you work in the body, you work in the pancreas, you work in the liver, you work in the intestine, you work in the stomach. So energy is necessary there, but it's a constant overwork of the organs, and the body only recover and repair when it's in rest, which is why we go sleep. We go to sleep, and sleep is fasting, giving you a break, fasting. Shut you down from everything so the body can. And this is what science says, your body regenerate and repair during REM sleep. So I think we have gone off the rocker in terms of working with the body. We're not working with the body now, we're working against the body. Everything, if we were working with the body, then we'd listen more to the body. But we're told, or the information or the science is, the body is, everything else trump the intelligence of the body. That I think is off.
It is off.
And this is why, we're harvesting all of that. So once go to the point of, okay, once you change your core beliefs, then you're going to do some cleansing. And if you're on meat and you want to cleanse, I would suggest, if you're going to cleanse, before you do a cleanse, whether it's herbal cleanse, some kind of detox, whether it's the lemon water, whether it's straight fruits, fruits is an excellent detox.
Super.
You listen, that alone.
Even type 2 diabetics can do it.
Yeah, because the thing with fruits is that it doesn't spike your insulin. The insulin is only spiked when you need, because when you need when glucose is being released, fruit is fructose. You don't need insulin to break down fructose. You need insulin to break down glucose. And that is something I learned because that was the science. You can't have too much fruit because the sugar is going to cause you to get diabetes. That's the
And
science.
this is why, y'all.
That's the
I have
science.
blood sugar issues, and I have not had a problem. Unless I went back and ate the starch and the potato on top of it.
Of course, the
Of course,
complex, the
yeah.
starch.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there are, that's kind of, you need the starch, but the enemy as far as illness, sickness, and disease is the overeating and just the too much starch. I think as black people,
You mean you don't need the
melanated,
starch? You said you need the starch.
you need some starch, but not that the
Not
type.
that
You
type.
know,
No,
yeah,
not
you
that
need.
type.
You don't need the starch that's stripped of its nutrients. A lot of the starches where it's enriched, it's void of the stuff that your body can utilize. So it comes in void, and your body have to compensate to make it whole for it to use it. So if you're going back to cleansing, if you want to start on this, I would suggest you do a cleansing. You got to clean out the garbage.
Because you don't want to put what I did. You don't want to put the vegetation and all that on top, and you still have like the
Stuff in you that
stuff
need to
in
come
it that
out.
needs to come out. Get that stuff out first.
Right.
And then, So
Yeah.
like you said,
Yeah.
the detoxing is left out, and it's so important. Like, I wish I had done that more at a deeper,
You did it on and off.
I guess,
Yeah,
but
you
when
did
we
it.
very first started, I wish I had done it.
Or had somebody
like 4
to say,
years.
do
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
first.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
because
what I mean.
now I understand
It
how
makes
important
sense.
that
Yeah,
is. You
yeah.
gotta clean out the trunk, the junk in the trunk,
Mm-hmm.
before you get new stuff inside of it.
Right.
Especially those build up, and to say that you had a girlfriend, and eventually I'm going to talk to her, and she was saying, because she started on the juice and, just vegetation. And she said she had such an excellent bowel movement 2 days. And she was like, she don't remember ever seeing or having that kind of, elimination. So I'm like saying, if the experts are saying you don't need to do anything else, you don't really need to cleanse, you just eat what you eat and the body does itself, where did that crap come from? And I had the same thing. As often as we cleanse, sometimes when we do vegetation, sometimes when I go on the cleanse, I'm like, where is this thing coming from? And this is where it's coming from, guys. We are in our little stomach there, over 20 feet of intestines. You know what 20 feet is? I am 5'4". That's like
It's so
4 times. Some people is 30 feet. Can you imagine 4 or 5 times that coiled up
Yeah.
in your
Just
little
like
stomach
it's-
here? And you're telling me when you're eating that stuff, there's no way all of that is not coming up, wrapped up into all of the crevices and the grooves of the stomach, that is going to be eliminated. We have to give the body a break, because the body will do the cleansing. We just have to give it the fuel and allow it the space. It's self-regulatory, it's self-healing, it has its own. Listen, the food doesn't heal you. The food creates an environment that causes the body to heal itself. So to the point of cleansing, if you're going to do a cleanse and you're on meat for a whole week, don't eat the meat for a week. Just eat the vegetation for a week, and then you can do your herbal cleanse, whether it's the lemon detox, lime detox, lemon detox, and just the straight, you can do a cleanse with straight watermelon, and you can
do grapes
too, because those are high water content, and see how you feel. So once you start that now, and you make a choice, you know what? This is a feel, because you're going to feel better. When you're detoxing, you're not probably going to feel good. With me, when people say when they're detoxing, they get headache and they get withdrawal, I never really had any of that because I wasn't a heavy meat eater. I was a starch. To this day, I still struggle with that, but I was a heavy starch eater, especially from the Caribbean. That's the majority of what our diet looks like. So I didn't get the headaches. And I can say though, when I did that 14-day fast, um, I did get a little headache. But the nauseous, I was spitting a lot. I remember like I was pregnant. I was like, can't my, it was like
Mucus
all
kept
the,
coming
yeah,
through,
yeah. But now I know the body has to eliminate that stuff. It has to get that
Don't
stuff
hold
out.
on to that
And I
stuff.
wish I could have continued longer, which eventually I'll probably try it again. But now I find the lemon and the lime juice. Girl, that's it for me. And the fruits, because, I always love the fruits.
No, I love roots.
So, okay, so we do the cleansing. Let's do what your routine should be. I would suggest cut the eating down in the evening time. There's a thought or there that you should eat when the sun is out and stop eat when the sun is down. And that has to do with your circadian rhythm, they call it, which is your ability to go into sleep. No, we're not going into sleep anymore because light affects that rhythm, which is a 24-hour cycle of the body, how it's supposed to function. Too much light. And if you look at our lifestyle now, like me, which I tried, I'm still doing better at it. All of that light to hold, because melatonin is necessary for sleep. When there's light, melatonin is not produced, and you need that for rest, which is why we're not getting good, coupled with the fact that we're eating too late at night because the body is digesting while you're sleeping, so you're not repairing and healing. It's working, so energies, and then they don't have enough melatonin to keep you in REM sleep so it can do the repair. So it's double whammy. It's the light that affects the rhythm of the body, and then it's also the food that we're digesting. So if you can cut your eating off at a certain time, and that will help you to fast more hours too. Because if you, like now, I try to stop eat, rarely I go overnight. I just start that maybe, because I used to eat late. I'll get home from work at 10 o'clock and I'm going to bed at 12. There's no way I get up in the morning, I'm like beat. Like, now I understand. I was never resting. The body was still working. I was just unconscious through sleep. But there's a difference between rest and a difference between sleep. You have to rest, go into REM sleep so the body can repair. And that is where you're totally relaxed. So if you can do that, like me, 8 o'clock, or 8:30 the latest. Now it's darker, so I've been like doing 8:30. No, it's lighter.
Lighter.
Yeah. 8:30, and I have my first meal not before 1. So that takes into about 16 hours of fasting. And the reason I chose to do that is I want to give the body an opportunity to repair and heal. That's part of supporting longevity and quality function, optimum well-being. You gotta figure out, initially you probably won't be able to do that, but like I told Joy recently, the lights aren't going to be all green at the same time. And don't wait for them to be green, and then you're gonna take a step forward and a step back, and then 2 steps forward and 1 back, but you're inching, and it gets easier, guys. After a while, you're going to lose the desire for a lot of these things that you think that, boy, I can't live without them. I used to think that couldn't live without cheese. Although cheese was killing my joints, I would still eat that because just the consciousness of thinking, you know what? The pain will wear off. But the consciousness is that, why would I even think that way? That it would wear off, because the fact that I have the pain, it means that it's deteriorating. That is what pain is. It's giving you a signal that the body is going south, and
You're getting closer to death.
Yeah, and I'm going to continue be engaging in the same thing that is perpetuating the pain. I'm like, duh, that's no common sense. That's not wisdom.
Right.
So as you get that type of understanding, then you'll rule it out. So cheese was tough for me first. The breads was tough too. Rice was tough because every Sunday I'm doing rice and peas.
Breads was hard for me
I mean,
too.
just look at all of the starch. If you say you're going to Thanksgiving, just check this out. Thanksgiving or
You
Christmas,
got rolls,
tons of
dressing.
meat, ton. I mean, potato salad, candied potato. I mean, and we're eating and double eating and going back. I mean, I would
Going
stuff
back for 2 or
myself
3 plates.
and be still going back, and I'm like, I must be a Looney Tune. Now looking
and then
back,
you be going to sleep.
so yes, and then
That's what puts
well,
you
you're
to
going to
sleep.
sleep because the body
The
is
body's
trying
like,
to
yeah,
get
digest
muster all this
yeah.
energy to break
Exactly,
the
to
food
break the food
down.
down.
But what is it? It's a habit that we develop from
It's a learned-
association. It's a learned behavior. I will never actually question it. We think it, and we have 10 different meat that's there with the different type of grease, with the different. I'm like, just. I mean, that was
Fried food,
that was
fried
suicide.
Deep turkey.
No, man, that is suicide. That is was total self-sabotage.
And if you realize it is funny that you said that, if you think about it, after the holidays, that's when everybody gets sick. If you just think
yeah,
about that.
because you're trying to.
So you got Thanksgiving, you got Christmas, because you're going to go back and eat again for December. So just think about it. Everybody, you think, they get sick after that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the body
it
trying
detox-
to, this
get
body
rid of it.
trying to get rid of it. But we not even thinking about that.
But that's part of the. I want to say programming. When I say programming, that's part of the continual habitual behavior that this is what. But it's an unconscious living.
Right.
It's not consciously living. So you're thinking, okay. I'll hear people say, so where's the pleasure in all of that? That's the pleasure of it. Listen to me. You're going to either choose the pleasure. You're either going to choose the pleasure or choose the pain. You got to either pay now or you're going to pay later. So that's my suggestion to you guys. You do the cleansing, and then you shut your eating time shorter, and then incorporate more fruits and vegetation. As you know, you do the fruits first when you break your fast at 1 o'clock, thereabout. You have like whether your fruit blend. I'll do ginger or lemon. I don't add any sugar or anything to that because the fruit is already sweet. And you'll get used to that. Initially, maybe you have to. And sometimes I'll do lemon and ginger and apple or, whatever. And then I've been trying, to have the most 2 meals. Now I'm cutting it down to 1. Because when you stop eat so late, when you start eat at 1, then there's not much time left, for you to shut down at 8:30.
Right.
So this doesn't have to be for you guys. This is where I'm at now, close to 4 years. With you guys, if you have 3-4 meals, cut it down to 3, cut it down to 2. And if you're working people, come up with a system. Like my girlfriend, she's busy. So she preps, everything is it. Sea moss is another thing that you can incorporate. It's loaded with minerals. We do that. Make it, put it in trays, ice cube it. Quick, make little baggies of fruits, put it in the freezer so you can make a quick, take your jars, get some jars to travel with. Always travel with your tools and your ammunition. So you're always, so you're always ready. Those are for the workers. And if, for instance, you don't get to eat sometimes, it's not going to kill you if you don't eat. It's better for the body. So part of the transitioning is that it's the reprogramming the mind. The Bible said, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. So it starts up here. I think once you get this in order, then the body will follow. But the body is built on habits. The same thing over repetition. That's how we learn, repetition. After a while, it's much like driving. After a while you drive, you get to a point here and it's like, you're totally unconscious. That's how we eat food. That's how we treat our bodies. You just eat unconsciously. And then by the time you look here, like, okay, and not only that, the denial that people are in. Like people say, okay, they have this, they feel this pain, they have these issues going on, and they're like thinking that something is not out of balance in the body. And you totally don't pay any attention to it. Those are little things that we need to change in terms of tweaking the mindset so we can adopt new habits and new ideas towards supporting. And like Joy said, find your tribe. Find somebody who can be a running buddies along the path, who you can then do your own research. I mean, people vilify YouTube, everybody on YouTube, all the experts on YouTube, everybody who you think is out here, you tell me who they're not on YouTube. So it's a resource that's free that you don't have to pay for. And you just find somebody, because my way might not, connect with you, resonate,
Right.
Joy way. You just because we did that. This person did not resonate. That didn't work well with my body, but I kept seeking and I kept until, because you're molding and you're building, so it takes time. So you just keep doing what you're doing until you find your groove, where you know what, this is what I can incorporate to help me to get where I need to go. But I think we just need to stop being denial about where we're headed. Where we are headed does not look good, guys. More people dying younger, and they're dying younger. Whether we like it or not, we have a contribution to it. We are contributing. If not 100%, I want to say it's a high percentage. And the managing of the stress, we can talk about that later. That's something that we have to go deal with as well, because it affects you the same way like the food affects you. So hopefully we have given you some. And of course, sleep, which I mentioned before, and exercise. I want to talk about exercise later at another episode. So we're trying to keep these episodes shorter, because we have gone a long time for the other two. But anyway, guys, this is the close of our third episode.
This is our third episode.
Yeah. So keep tuning in.
Yes. Cause
Subscribe, share.
we're new with this, so we'll get it down.
Yeah, but we have some stuff that I believe that will help you guys.
Yeah.
And it's not just to have a YouTube channel. We want to be part of the solution. And if the solution means more people coming off all of that stuff, then that is what we're gonna do to play our part. So anyhow,
I think that's it. I don't have
That's it.
anything else to say. We'll be back on Thursday.
Next Thursday at 8 again.
And I think you're gonna send a link to Facebook if anybody wants to.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I'll continue
Yeah,
post.
yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
Welcome to
y'all, till
chime
next
in.
time. Thanks for
Chime in.
joining.
Chime in there.
Peace. Tea was good though. I don't know, I kind of felt like I was all over the place.